Can't say boom without thinking about my dog.
No.
Yo, 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 yo. Your guys are back on a Monday night. We were just saying how we had to get back on our regularly scheduled programming. So it is so great to be back with my friends, colleagues, and let's just be honest, they're bringing the wisdom. I'm just being the dumb guy chatting here. It's Bags and GP and Nick still doing his surfing waves on some powder shred.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, Nick? How
It's
are
going
you?
great. I'm pretty happy with the timing of my ski trip.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, the podcast is live and running.
Are the
I'm
tweets out?
I'm putting them out right now. Put them out right now. Uh, GP, Nick was just saying right as you hopped on that he kind of likes the way the market's looking. It's just grinding. You are never bashful about telling us your 2 cents. How was today? Well, since the last time we talked through today, how do you think things are looking?
I think focus should be on the NASDAQ composite, right? Not the Qs, not the SPYs, not small caps. Small caps, I think people are under the impression that a bull market only happens when small caps lead. So far, it's been like a year and a half, and they've been wrong. I feel that we talked about I believe this last week. It's first large cap, it's mega caps, it's large caps, it's mid caps, and then small caps will be the last one to participate, in my opinion. And so far that's been the thing. Like, but I'd be focused on the NASDAQ composite. NASDAQ composite contains, I think, a little over 2,000 companies. It is not the Qs that's weighted heavily at the top. It's all encompassing.
There you go,
And
GP. Sorry, I got off the cues. There's the NASDAQ composite for you.
yeah, perfect. And what is it doing? You're on a weekly basis.
Higher.
We basically spent 4 weeks trying to break out the 2021 highs, and last week on FOMC we broke out. And to me, that isn't bearish. That isn't. And that leaves room for the market to go higher. And that's I'm tired of the market just grinding, and I wish things would get moving already. But to me, this isn't bearish. To me, this is solid consolidation. It it had a big move off the bottom in 2022 to 2023, had an insane flag down to that, what is that, 50-week moving average or whatever that orange line is. And
That is
it's,
the 50 weekly, yes.
yeah. And so it broke back over after not being able to break back over for well over a year. Came back, retested it. Everyone called for the end of the market, and then it slapped them in the face. And we are now here, just back to 2021 highs. That means anyone who bought Qs, SPYs, whatever, the NASDAQ composite is just now breaking even from 2.5 years ago.
If they just bought there and nothing else. All right.
Correct. Correct. And there's obviously people who bought there because
Sure.
that's where it went.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and so to me, we got to this level, we consolidated, and we broke higher last week on FOMC. And so that to me tells me more things are looking to participate, not distribute. So I think we go higher. And I don't know. We talked about the lockout rally in November, right? Everyone's talking about the lockout rally now, but we talked about it in November. Um, does it seem like it's going to give you an opportunity? And if
No,
it
it
does,
looks like it's just breaking out.
yeah. And if it does pull back, is that really what you want to be buying? Because I wouldn't, right? Um, I'd be concerned if it does pull back too much here. Quicker the better if it does pull back. Honestly, I think a pullback would be awesome because then it would generate more momentum to the upside.
So what are you talking, like here to the 9 weekly? Nothing
Yeah,
deeper than
nothing
that, or are we
crazy.
talking like the 20? We're talking the 9?
For the Nasdaq Composite, let me
Yeah.
pull it up. We just spent what, like 5 weeks trying to get to the nine, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, like last week's lows was essentially off the 9 week moving
Yeah.
average. So, no, I personally think remember the Q's taking out 408,
Right.
right? Similar to kind of that. Once it takes out 408, it goes higher. So I would say, yeah, I'm not personally in the camp that it pulls back, but that's me.
Nick, what say you?
I'm just taking it in. I kind, I agree in most all cases. I mean, more consolidation, a pulling up here would look great. A nice kind of channel down would look great. We continue higher, it looks great. I mean, I haven't really, like I said earlier, I've been skiing and really taking kind of a break from
You've been shredding that pile, boy.
my computer really, but I think stuff looks good. So I think there's setups out there.
Yeah, nothing's breaking, right? Things are
Yeah,
consolidating, but
all
nothing's breaking.
like
Well, I mean, if it's already broken, well, I guess we don't consider that breaking, right?
We're
Tesla.
talking about like what Tesla or Apple that have
Yeah,
already,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but those are already weak, right? They've been in multi-month downtrends. But things that have been consolidating, if you're looking at Square, if you're looking at Wayfair, if you're looking at Palantir, if you're looking at Disney, if you're looking at Coin, looking at Netflix, which continues to grind to absolutely nowhere, but not breaking down. AMD, everyone's like, oh my God, it's dead, dead, dead. And then what does it do? It loses $1 today.
Lisa
Um,
ain't dead.
right? App is breaking higher slowly. Dash is breaking higher slowly. If you're in China names, my prayers out to you because you haven't participated in years.
Yeah, look at Baba. Baba just keeps fluttering along, dead money.
um, and like the winners have shown that they continue to win. Now we need to see some of the higher consolidated names start to move higher. Even godforsaken PayPal is looking better now.
I saw you post something on Square earlier, GP or Block. I got onto
Yeah.
us about calling it Square
that
still.
one's so good.
Do you like it now? You still waiting for it to break? Like what's
I've liked it for a while now, right? We talked about when it hit 38. I was waiting for that 38 so patiently and got it, and it's been beautiful since. And
38 to 82 is pretty good, right? Last
it
time
was
I checked.
phenomenal. Yeah. But there were so many people buying in the 60s that I was like, nah, this is going lower. We got that 38 and then it has not looked back, right? Buyers stepped in, cash came in, volume was there, straight to 80. I honestly thought it would get to 66 and then pull back, but it went straight to 80. So tells you what I know. And then it had a flag, and it flagged above the breakout area of 66. For ironically, and now it's doing the same thing.
Flagging.
It's flagging, it's right at that 85 area. When is the question, right? Is it until next earnings? Is it going to flag for another 5 weeks? What are we looking at here, right? What's the catalyst that's going to break us higher? And I'm struggling to find what's going to break us higher in a lot
When
of these. So it's going to be a when, right? It's going to be the only thing that can come to mind for me is Square right now. But I couldn't think of a reason why the markets were going to go much higher off the 9 monthly moving average at the end of October. But then they gave you all the reasons that they need to. So I'm not worried too much about whys, right? The question is, are you
when?
in? Yeah. The question is when. when, and the question is, are you in already? Or are
Like
you
how
like, oh,
much?
the best part of those conversations is like, oh man, I missed Square. Now what do I do? And I'm like, how did you miss Square? It's literally been doing nothing. So yeah, to me, it's when it's a combination of
You know,
earnings.
I think one thing, and Nick, I'm curious to hear you chime in because you love talking about psychology of all this.
Sure.
When there are so many names, and we've gone through this week in and week out, when there's so many names that are basing or nearly dragging those lows, right? Like the square chart that I've got up here, block, like that this goes hand in hand with what I was saying last week. You shouldn't get bored of the trade, but when do you just chalk it up as dead money? Square hasn't been dead money if you bought in the 38s, but if you
Right.
bought anywhere basically in this range here, right, it's been pretty dead money for you. Um,
Yeah, dead
so
money is a relative term. Totally.
So my question is, when you're looking at these names, and you can even throw the Chinas in there too. Like everybody's waiting for the Chinas to bounce and bottom, myself included. But how do you determine what you want to pick? It's like you can throw a rock, but not every one of them is going to turn around. What is Square has turned around here? 94% in what is that? 6 months. How do you pick? How do you determine which one you want to go with, Nick?
I mean, I'd say you go with your strongest positions, like just allow the market to kind of naturally dictate where you put money, and that should be where your like where your best positions are, the ones that are working the best.
Well,
So just
if I'm not in Square though, right? And
sure.
let's rewind back time to October, September, October. All right, let's just rewind back time somewhere through here. All right, and they're Square, right? Let's go to Baba, same chart, right? Like dragon lows, not low now, but it's pretty low, right?
Yeah,
Let's say something like hell, I don't know, pager duty, right? Like at the lows, right?
yeah,
Or something I hold that's a big old dog turd, right? Asana, right? Near the lows. So you can throw a rock at any of these that have been basing for the last 2 years. How do you decide to choose square or what Asana, right? That's I guess that's what I'm getting at, Nick. How do
okay.
you determine when you have
So
all these same patterns of basing? Who
from
do
a
you go?
from
You look at volume? Do you look at insider buys? What do you do?
from a technical perspective, I want the moving averages on that weekly chart like stacked and curled up. So that's like the 10 week is curling up along with the 30 and the 40.
So
Like
using
like,
Square,
like
would,
Square
would,
is
would you
at
have
the top.
waited until 60 to buy? I mean, 65 to buy, basically.
Um, no, personally, I think the trade was on reclaiming 55.
Okay.
Like
So,
if
okay, GP, then to you. Sorry, Nick. I'm just,
I mean GP's entry was phenomenal on the daily. I guess I would argue that I could have entered somewhere like in the 43-ish zone and then just throw my stop in the gap. But the thing is, like the way Square is setting up now, we didn't know this is how it was going to set up when it was trading back at the low, so it wouldn't have met my prerequisite. It wouldn't met my criteria for entry is kind of what I'm getting at. It would have maybe in the terms of like just like a trade or like a lotto trade kind of thing, sure, but just my style, it wouldn't have. It should be on my watch list just because it's already building a nice base.
all right. So, GP, now the question is to you. Out of all these charts for the past 2 years that have based, what made you like Square over anything else? Was it volume? Was it just your confidence in Square? Like what again, you could throw a rock and hit 15 charts that look similar, but
Yeah.
not every one of them have turned nearly 100% in 6 months.
Yes. So Square, we talked about this a long time. I posted a lot of charts when it was in the 50s, 60s, 70s. I'm like, this is going to 38. So when it got to 38, it wasn't an immediate buy for me, Nick. It was, what are we going to do with 38, right? Once you get to a level, it was like, and it was going into earnings. So it made it really hard for you to get long. But for me was, hey, I'm gonna buy 38 here. Right now it's at, I think at that point, I think it was at like 1.5 or 2 times sales, not even, right? It's like pricing in no growth whatsoever. So fundamentally, I thought it was a good area to buy. Buyers stepped in on earnings. And even if you didn't buy the 38, you bought 40 or you waited for earnings to come out, you're still nearly double from that point of earnings, right? So there was a few different ways you could have done it here, but 38 is the target I had on my chart. So when it gets there, you want to see the behavior. You want to see buyers come in. Whereas I didn't talk about PayPal in the same regard because buyers didn't step in when it got to the levels that I thought it was going to get to, right? It just more sellers stepped in. So I'm like, I don't want to touch PayPal. It's not performing well. I even posted the chart. I'm like, there's a huge divergence here. Is PayPal is not performing the same as Square. And so to me, it was confirmation that we got to the level and you saw buyers step in, is that we're going to go much higher from here. And so if you miss that initial move, the pullback is what you're waiting for. And I played this, I didn't do this as well on Square, but on Disney, I did perfectly, right? And sorry, not like shining any halos, but we talked about Disney in the same regards as Square. I waited for the mean reversion to the weekly 200. And then as soon as it got there, we got the pullback. And then when we got the pullback, I think where I was talking about this in late December is when I added leaps, because on that pullback, that first pullback after a monster move higher is where the moves in these stocks become cleaner, right? Your moving averages are turning up. You're starting to repair a lot of technical damage. It happens on the first big pop where the short-term moving averages start to turn. And now that small, healthy consolidation over numerous weeks now allows the longer-term moving averages to turn, right? So that's when you want to get in and not get shaken out if you miss the first kind of leg higher, right? So in Square, 66 was exactly that point. That's where I thought we were going to go from 38 to 66. Buyers took it all the way to 80, and then 66 became that level. So, like, I have thoughts in my head, and then what happens with price action. So that's similar to if you're watching, I was posting about this, like it just refuses to break this area, is testing the top, coming back in, testing the top. So 66 was that level. And now if it breaks higher from here, it's going to be a cleaner look. It's going to be a much better look. You're not frustrated. You're frustrated by it's not moving every week like NVDA is or SMCI, but it's also not breaking down, right?
No doubt it's going to 100.
What's
Over
that?
100. Square.
Square is in its process of mean reversion at the 200 week, and the 200 week sits at 129.
04.
04. 04. Yes. So it's going there. The question is, will it be only on earnings and that's the only time it moves? Or will it be leading into earnings? But that's where my thought process here is, that Square is going to 130. And then we'll see what price action brings.
Yeah, I'm in the same. I agree with 100%.
Yeah. And why that level? It's these stocks were so destroyed technically that the 200 week is still at 129. Like that.
Destroyed.
Yeah, but the quickness with which they were destroyed is why these moving averages are sitting still so far above where they are currently, right? Like If this was a gradual destruction over time, then those moving averages wouldn't be so high. But now you're looking at a mean reversion back to there. And so if you don't get the first leg, the second leg is the pullback, and that's typically around a 38.2 retracement, give or take a few percentage points.
Yeah. All right. I like to go over that because I mean we all find stocks that we like, right? For whatever reason.
Yeah.
And sometimes our thesis is right, sometimes our thesis is wrong, as are human. And it's always enlightening and insightful when we find out how other people decided to take a take a successful trade. When again, like I was saying, so many charts, very similar, right? And you could be
Yeah.
like, well, if one's going, all of them is going. Well, not necessarily.
No, look at Roku. Roku is not going.
I haven't looked
Right.
in Roku since the last time you said Roku.
Yeah. So this is this is a management that doesn't understand the task at hand. The task at hand is to return or to get to profitability. It's been a decade. Get to profitability, okay? Right? Like it's about time. And if you're not going to be rewarded. And that is exactly what you're seeing here in Roku. People are like, you know what? My money is better suited elsewhere, aka Square, aka Disney, aka NVDA, aka anything that's not Roku that refuses to get profitable. And they've been promised. The problem is also they've been promising profitability for 3 quarters straight now. And on last earnings, like, hey, how about next quarter? Um, so not all charts are created equal, and management also needs to come to the game. You can't have these moves if management doesn't come to the game and play.
I thought you were talking about Boeing for a second. Sorry.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, this is going lower.
Yeah.
I didn't even pay attention to Boeing today. Actually, it kind of popped and dropped, didn't it? It was like,
CEO
hey,
stepped down.
we're firing people. Oh, we're still Boeing.
Oh my God, look
Yeah.
at Spirit Airlines. Oh,
Spirit save.
The merger got knocked down, right?
The port. I wonder if Portnoy's still in this. He was in the save category there for a while. I don't know if he's still in that or not.
I think he was. He was trying to save it, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, but I know he was like the first couple of weeks, but I don't know if he's still in it or not.
Yeah.
is he still day trading?
If you bought in the 4s or 5s, you should have sold on the pop at 9. Anyway, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
I last week we had a great discussion on good old Bitcoin, and don't you know, Bitcoin decided to say, "Hey, I'm going back to 70 grand today." We're just a shade under that right now. Um, we're still standing by this, right? Bitcoin up is still risk on, yay?
Yeah, for sure.
God, it looks so good. Take a look at CLSK.
Would you buy it right here, Nick? Would you buy it at 69,965?
Uh,
You have no stake, but if I said, here's $10,000, go buy me something, would you buy Bitcoin right now?
I feel like if I say yes, it's gonna roll over.
It's not your money, is it? It's my money that I gave you.
Yeah, yeah, sure. You know what? I'll spend your money. The thing about what I would have expected, like it's holding up really well considering it's pushed back up into the 65, 70,000 level. You know, like if this thing was gonna like really collapse after kind of, coming back up to what those 2021 highs, I would have what's that?
No, sorry. I accidentally hit play on the podcast.
Yeah, so it's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'd buy it. I mean, I'd probably buy other stuff over Bitcoin at the right now.
I took on some ETH near
Yeah,
the lows here last week. It's my first ETH purchase in a little while, and I bought some Chainlink too. Oh, that's not Chainlink. That is Link something else. Here we go. There's Chainlink. I bought Chainlink near the lows last week as well.
I have AVAX.
Yeah,
AVAX.
I like Avalanche. You actually hold some Avalanche, Nick.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Did you tell me that before and I just didn't process that?
Oh, maybe.
Wow.
Is Bitcoin going to 140,000?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think so.
Like in the next 3 to 4 weeks? More than
Well, the halving happens in less than 30 days. So again, coming back to what we talked about, was it last week or the week before? It's odd that it's already pumping before halving. So um, I don't know. I don't think it's. I have a hard time believing it's going to happen before that happens. GP.
It's the
Anything's
exact
possible.
same setup when we were at 20,000. It's 3 to 4 weeks sideways, 20% range in that sideways, and then we took off to 38,000.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, anything's possible. Anything is possible. I just, I don't know, man. I wish I could put the having on the charts here all the times that it have, but I just have a hard time thinking it's doing that before it halves. Who
Yeah.
knows? We'll see.
Yeah, sure. I mean, dude, it could easily go into that like that parabolic mode where it just starts ripping like
Yeah.
10,
And
20
again,
grand
the
a day.
thing that's different now than it has been in all the other having cycles is now you have all this ETF money in, right? And so I don't know. It's different, but should it be that different? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, because more institutionals are involved,
Yeah, we'll see.
right? They'll start looking like real chart patterns because accumulation and distribution and institutional models are almost the same.
Dubs ask if someone wanted to get into crypto, would you recommend buying Bitcoin directly through Coinbase or invest in one of the ETFs? That's a very personal decision. Um, Dubs, it's hard for me to give you that advice, and this is not financial advice. I do not own any of the ETFs. I own all my cryptos in my own wallet off exchange. So I purchase through Coinbase, I remove it off the exchange. So that's what I do. I'm a firm believer in not your keys, not your crypto. So if you leave it on exchange, who knows what could happen? They are custodying your crypto, and I prefer to have large amounts of money in places where I can access it, not just anyone. That said, the ETFs, if that is where I had the most cash to put to work, was in a retirement account or a taxable account. I wouldn't be afraid to buy into one of the ETFs. That would be easier than ponying up the extra dough, probably for some people to use their money that way, as opposed to opening a Coinbase or a Kraken or whatever exchange you might want to use. So it's a very personal decision. I can't make that call for you. I just tell you what I do. But there is no right or wrong answer. I'll tell you what, though, we should expect an Ethereum ETF, mm, probably mid to late summer, I'm guessing. Um, when that happens, I will probably hold a little bit of both Bitcoin and Ethereum in my brokerage account and not just the coins that I have in my own wallet. So just my 2 cents. Nick, I don't know where you have your Avalanche stored or how you bought your Avalanche, but that's what I do.
Yeah, no, I've just been using Coinbase and Robinhood. Nothing
Yeah.
too complex.
Yeah.
Or just buy Coinbase.
Yeah, totally.
Just buy some Coinbase stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Coinbase looks awesome. It has been awesome. Continues to be awesome. I wish everyone had bought when GP and I were saying, please buy Coinbase in the 40s and 50s,
Yeah.
Oh,
even
50,
60s.
57, I think, right? Is when we
I
started talking.
I remember that conversation, and I think we all said focus, and I think we might have even said Hood as well, but focus on Coinbase and Hood over like Riot, Mara, and whatever the other
Yep.
ones were.
Yep.
Look at
Absolutely.
how Riot and Mara have performed comparably to Coin. Yeah, just by Coinbase.
Yeah, it was to me at that time was a no-brainer, right? Like you had probably I think it was like 3 bankruptcies in a row and the big monster FTX. Crypto refused to die, Coinbase refused to die. It was game on, right? If you don't look at charts, if you don't look at anything else, in the face of potential extermination, you are not dying, you are surviving, and you are pushing higher at some point. And then the chart was just
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I
The
mean,
Coinbase chart reminds the Wayfair chart reminds me of the Coinbase chart. FYI. So oh,
no,
Wayfair shaping up.
he's poking his head out there a little bit of that wedge. Um,
yeah,
I don't want to jump to Wayfair too quickly. I
yeah,
want to go
yeah.
back. I want to go back to Coinbase. Um, and we did mention Hood. I remember that conversation very clearly, Nick.
Yeah.
I think where I was at was Hood isn't as clear of a crypto play as Coinbase, and if you're bullish crypto, I would go with Coinbase. And if you're not, then I think Hood's okay. And if I look at Hood, I see a very similar setup to what Coinbase did when it went to its break out of its first leg here.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy, but this to me, this right here, I'll circle it. This right here to me looks like this right here. So I think you're coming to a. I can't say it's a buy point yet. It could still go higher before it pulls back in.
I'm just
But
saying, look how Coin
I
and
think
Hood
Hood looks great.
performed. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Sorry, Nick, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying, like, look how much better they performed. I remember vividly us saying like Hood and Coin over the the Riot, the Mara.
Yeah, I mean that was close. That was mid-May-ish of last year. I mean, Hood's only up 134%, right? I mean, cry me a river, boo-hoo, if you're only made 134%, while Coinbase is now 500%. So there you go. And it looks great. If you think Bitcoin chart looks great, I submit to you Coinbase looks great. It's hot
And
as hell, but
it's still
overbought can
not
stay
done though.
overbought, just like oversold can stay oversold.
It's still not done,
No,
right?
it's not.
People are still going to sell too early.
When it gets up into the 400s, I'm going to start calling it the revenge of Kramer, because if everybody remembers when this IPO'd, he was saying, "Oh yeah, I think like 350 is a fair price for this," or whatever it was. It was somewhere through here, somewhere in the 300s, and it's a sniff away from 300.
Yeah, and
Kramer's revenge.
Kramer talks about a million stocks, so I give him a break.
Yeah, he's full of shit, but we love him sometimes.
Oh, you get asked about like
I mean,
30, 40 stocks a day. He's gonna get some of them wrong, some of them right. So
yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about Kramer in the past. I don't want to make this about Kramer, but you got to be able to read between the lines. Like he's very gregarious, right? So you gotta know how to read it. Hey, there's a lot of people in the chat. Thanks for being in the chat. We see you, Jason, Randy, Dubs, Novice, Salty. Hey, if you guys have charts or something you want us to look at, hit us up. Let us know. We still got plenty of show left. We got more than 20 minutes, but always want to, let you guys be part of this too. Now let's go back to Wayfair GP. Wayfair was your stonk pick last quarter, right? That's correct.
Yep.
And
Yes.
I think you're going to get your 130 soon. It's going to take more than 2 quarters to get it, but I think you're going to get it.
Yeah, I think we talked about it then. Like, I'm not always great with timing, but where things are gonna go is better for me. So Wayfair if you look at the quarterly chart down to the monthly chart, this is all setting up. I don't know what the catalyst is gonna be to get it moving higher and doing better, but it's got all the tenants, all the building blocks to be so much higher. I love how so many people are on this now. That scares me a little bit, but doesn't mean the market can't make it go higher. But I really like the chart. I think it's talking to the world, and not everyone is listening.
I like that, GP. It's talking to the world and not everyone is listening. That's deep shit.
Yes,
You
but
got in your
that's
with that
but
one.
so I was just on a spaces with Jim Rowe and Short Seller, and so this is something that like everyone talks about NVIDIA now, right? The AI boom, Chat GPT, all this stuff is the narrative that's now setting up. But NVIDIA chart showed you back in January of last year that something had fundamentally changed. All this news came out afterwards, right? All the growth, all this stuff. But when it went from rejecting the 21-week moving average for consistently a year and a half to holding it, that's all you needed. That's literally all you needed. And the narratives flowed in afterwards, right? So I know not every chart works this way, but I think a lot of charts will tell you exactly where they're going. And the question is whether you're listening or not, right?
I just
So
threw a quick scale on NVIDIA. Obviously, people love and have loved to talk about and brag about NVIDIA. But Coinbase has basically done what NVIDIA's done in much less time. And I think that's impressive as well.
Agreed.
yeah, and both of those, the charts were telling you before any of the price action was actually there, right? I think that's the key part for me here is like, and it continues to solidify for me. Like I said, not every chart, but almost every chart, almost many charts will tell you what they want to do eventually and where they want to go. If you're looking and if you're paying attention, NVIDIA, Coinbase, Square, all these things, they were all in the charts. I didn't know any of this stuff beforehand. I didn't know that NVIDIA was going to have a quarter over quarter, not even quarter, sequential quarter revenue growth of 100%. I have no idea, but all you needed was the chart to get you in.
Yep, I agree.
Just some housekeeping item real quick. I just got a message from Cookie. We will have a live podcast next Monday, April 1st. This is not April Fools with Cookie at 11 a.m. Eastern, our quarterly Cookie update. We will also go through our stock picks for the quarter, which will have ended on Friday to end the month. And we will look at our shorts too. And to just do a quick rundown on what our stock picks were, GP went with AAP, Nick went with URI, Bags went with Fresh, Cookie went with Soxel, the cheating bastard, And shorts, GP, Chevron, Nick Lemonade, and bags Yeti. I'm not going to pull those charts up, but we will have a good time on Monday, April 1st. That's next Monday.
It will be intraday as well, so be prepared. It's
Intraday.
not an evening show.
Intraday. We love a good intraday. We love a good intraday. Randy said same with IoT. Yeah, IoT. GP was all over IoT early. And look at that thing just go.
Yeah.
What is that up now? 312%. Good job, IoT. Still looks good.
Yeah.
Samsara.
Dude, look at AAP app. APP. App loving.
We'll look at advanced auto parts real quick. You already achieved your price target, but we'll look
So
at
I love calling bottoms and looking for bottoms. I think I've got a I don't know. I don't know why I do, but I just love that AAP bottom was just beautiful. But
App Lovin just keeps trucking.
yep.
I mean, if you bought right there, you're only up 510%, right? Gosh, it must be nice to be up 510%. Are you in App Lovin or you just talk about it, GP? I don't remember.
I was in a trade. I don't hold many long-term positions. I trade them, so
yeah. Good job. Good job. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, no, I don't own any app, but yeah, it looks great.
Jason. Hi, Jason. Any thoughts on Symbotic?
Pretty good.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? You got a nice wedgie going.
what is that monthly volume bar?
Volume. Let's turn the volume on because GP loves some volume.
That's a monster sell.
I don't know. I'm going to guess it had something to do with some earnings.
Yeah.
Just an educated guess. Oh, let's see. It was earnings.
It was, which got bought up, but not that well. But yeah, that red bar always gives me a concern when you see that type of volume, but it still looks good.
They did an offering as well, Jason said.
Okay. Maybe that's what that volume is. Frog.
I mean, I think it looks pretty good. It's doing everything that I would want it to do on the weekly time frame. It bounced off the 50, which is the bottom part of the wedge. It's retaken the 20 and the 9 and the 20. The 20 is currently above the 9, but both of them are pointed up. I don't know that you'll get a pullback, but if you do, I would feel comfortable down to the 9.
Yeah. Frog looks good, but it's one of those IPO names.
Frog. GP can't talk about Frog. It's an IPO. Nick, what do you think about Frog?
Wow.
It's a big booty base.
Yeah, it looks like it's gone stage 2 and it's just kind of flagging right now. I think you got a range from like basically 40 to 49. I don't really care about it holding the 10 week. I just kind of care about it holding like 39 to 40.
Yeah.
But if I was like, for whatever reason, obsessed with this company, I'd also kind of be happy to buy any, if like the market rolled over, I'd buy anything like in the low 30s versus like the 200 day and that kind of the stage 1 base breakout there around 28 to 30. But I don't know anything about it.
Playing from Gautam.
I would prefer it to stay above 39.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, if it pulled in, I'd want to see it probably bounce around 30, around that 50 weekly. But I would prefer it to stay above 39. It's got a beautiful flag right here. So I hate to see that get wasted. You know what I mean?
It's getting
It looks a little weak on the daily, though.
it's getting bought up quarter over quarter. Um, like the number of funds buying it, it's going up pretty well.
Yeah, I mean it looks solid. I I don't own it. I'm not in it, but I think you could use 39 as a stop, or even, like I would even buy it at 39. I would want it to hold there, but I would even buy it at 39. You don't want the chart to get too broken.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, Brian, hi Brian. He wants to know what's up with Tesla. Who wants to take a shot at Tesla?
It's just doing
I
it.
mean, I'll take shots at Tesla all day, but who wants a shot at Tesla?
I think it's holding right where it needs to.
That's all it's doing though.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not part of the cycle. That's it, right? Like Apple, Tesla, Google, all are fairly weak in this cycle. They are not part of this. They are consumer facing names, not in AI, not in crypto. So there's just not a lot of interest in these names. And so holding where it needs to is good. These are opportunities where it gives you an opportunity to add if you can see the vision, right?
If you had the patience and the discipline.
I think Tesla's one of those names that you DCA in anyway, whether it's in like a Roth or whatever. So yeah, if you get lower prices, great.
Yeah, there was heavy accumulation back in January 2023. We are testing that heavy accumulation here. We break down from here. I think it's goes lower. It's been weak. It's not going anywhere. There's nothing, there's no catalyst at this point for it to
So
take it higher, right?
so everyone likes picking a bottom, and this is not a bottom pick for me at all because we're not making a new low and we haven't carved out a bottom yet.
No.
So while I do own Tesla, I'm not adding here at all. Um, I think we could see lower, like GP's saying, and holding here's fine. If it holds here, great, hooray! Long-term holders love that, but it still looks like it's a little bit in peril to me.
Let the chart show you, and the chart is not showing you right now,
No,
right? That's
it is languishing, I think would be a great way to describe it.
yes. Do you
38
ultimately want the
Rimmers.
lowest? Do you ultimately want the lowest price to buy and go higher? Yeah, absolutely. But Tesla has never, in all these years of owning it, Tesla has never done anything that it's supposed to do.
And I don't disagree with Nick. If you're a long-term believer in Tesla and Elon and you're already in and you want a DCA, knock yourself out, right? Like I think it's in so many index funds that it's in the top 10 of nearly every index fund. So it's
Really? They are one of the. I thought they're only like 44% institutionally owned.
no, they're in Qs or in SPY and all the different ones that match the Qs and SPY. So like it's not going to Tesla does its own thing, as we know, but I don't think it's going to sink to $40.
Yeah, well, they're only 43% owned, right? Institutionally. Compared to
So
like Netflix, which is 82%, for example.
I mean, if we retest this 100 level and that breaks, yeah, I think we're probably looking somewhere in the 60s. But let's not put the cart before the horse. We're at 172,
Yeah.
right? So I if this is one of your long-term holdings, and this is not financial advice, it is one of my long-term holdings. I am not buying here, but if one were so inclined to dollar cost average, not the worst stock to do that in. That's my point. And I think Nick's too.
Yeah. So like if you were gonna buy 160 was a good area to buy. That was the January earnings high area. That's where a lot of volume came in. So that would have been a good area to buy. Here it's kind of in no man's land. If I'm assuming it's going to wick lower to take out that 159 area at some point on some asinine news of a car fire or something, but yeah, it does what it does. It's just not it's not part of the cycle. There's nothing Tesla is doing right now that warrants any kind of markup or multiple, right?
Yeah. 38 Grimmers. Hi. I don't recall ever meeting you before, but thanks for joining the pod tonight. I would love to talk about AMD. We briefly mentioned it off the rip. I mean, I like AMD here. I would love to get a shot in the 160s or even 150, high 150s. I don't think we're getting that.
Nope.
If we do, I will be backing up the truck as AMD is one of my largest positions. I will continue to make it one of my largest positions. So that said, I think it's bouncing here. I think it's going higher here. It needs to collect these moving averages, in my humble opinion. So we're not out of the woods yet, but it looks pretty good to me as you see the stochastic and the RSI flatten out a little bit. On the daily and on the weekly, we're trying to turn up. So we haven't lost any. We've lost the 9 weekly, but we're still holding all the other weeklies. So I'm not too concerned. And hey, if it bounced around the 50 weekly, thank you for the cheaper shares.
295.
295. That's where we're going next, GB.
Yep.
Nick, what do you think? I know you love some semis, like your Plaque and AVGO specifically.
Yeah, I do. I love them all. 250 was my target on AMD.
Yeah, boy.
At least near term.
295 is the 261 extension.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see it closer to 3 too. Yeah. Yeah. And I will not sell a share.
And you know where we found resistance this time? The 161 extensions. Like almost exactly the same pattern as NVIDIA when it was consolidating before it broke out. So bags, I'm in the camp that if 164 breaks on a closing basis, on a weekly closing basis, I think 130s is more where I want to get long, but I don't even think we get there personally.
Yeah, I can see that. And look at these wick. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I would agree on a closing basis that would be problematic. But look at all these wicks. You can go throughout ups and downs. You get these long wicks in AMD.
Yep.
Even more so on the daily. So I wouldn't be concerned for it to wick down into the 50 and bounce in the same week. I would not wait for the weekly close for me to buy that position. Now, if it languished through the week, I might rethink what I did. But again, AMD's long for me. And when I say long, it's one of those names that I have enough shares in. I just keep selling them calls, baby. Let me print that money.
Yeah. ARM looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I was just gonna say ARM too.
Yeah, it does. Flagging and bagging.
It is literally this if you if you look at the daily on ARM, that big monster volume bar to 164, we've essentially been inside days since then, right? Like this whole, SoftBank lockup was going to destroy us, did not destroy us. So they've been pretty much, it's tested that low of that 164 candle 5 times so far, and it hasn't broken. So flagging, consolidating, jiving, grooving, whatever you want to call it, it looks great.
Love it. Let's look at old GFS. That's another name Randy hit us with. Just languishing, Randy. Randy, this is the worst stock you've ever picked. What's up with that?
It's an
You give us
IPO.
all these awesome ones, Randy, and you say GFS months ago, and it's done nothing.
Years ago, to be honest.
God.
It looks fine. It's just not going anywhere.
Well, I gotta give Randy a little crap. He's thrown too much alpha out here for You got to hit 100%.
Have you looked at his PAVE? Jesus.
Pave?
Yes,
No,
the
I haven't looked
infrastructure
at that.
ETF.
Oh my God, Randy. How's Victoria's Secret doing, Randy? Not so great.
Right.
Not so great.
So
Um,
I don't personally like Pan W, but I'm sure there's a bunch
Holy
of people.
shit. Check out our Lulu.
No, not
Lulu.
good.
Man, I got smoked.
Well, it's.
Eh,
Oh, I
relatively speaking.
remember I was going to short Lulu last, or I did short Lulu last time. I should have kept my short on. That should have been my quarterly pick. Um, sorry, let's go back to Palo Alto. I'll stick up for Palo Alto. I don't think the chart looks good, but I'm a firm believer in cybersecurity. So, do you hackers?
So to me, if 318 gets tested and rejected, you have a very, very traditional Head and Shoulders.
Yes, for sure.
And that Head and Shoulders breakdown is, and you see the moving average is turning down. That was a monster volume. You typically see volume in Head and Shoulders um, on the head or the left shoulder, not the right shoulder. So you're seeing the monster volume on the head here. So a back test of 318 and rejection would probably confirm that this is this is your prototypical kind of head and shoulders pattern, because these are topping patterns, right? These aren't like, hey, we're in a downtrend, we're going to call a head and shoulders. They're overall topping patterns, and Pen W went from 130 to
Yeah,
380.
it ran hard.
Right. So this to me is a potential classic Head and Shoulders if 318 is rejected again, or
Well,
that area 318, 320, whatever.
I have no position, but I'm going to say the greatest trader of our generation went heavy on Palo Alto a few weeks ago, and that was none other than the Honorable Nancy Pelosi. So there's that.
Every
Really?
trader has its end. She also had Roblox calls in the hundreds.
Don't get me started on Roblox. Don't get me started. I'm only in this piece of shit because of UGP. No, I'm just joking.
No, it's because this is why I don't like IPOs, man. This is just fucking.
Kinda. I'm joking, but yeah, it's because of you.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't like IPOs, right? This is why I
Travel
don't like IPOs.
Tango. Hello, sorry, GP.
Yeah.
We're running out of time. I'm trying to get to everybody. Travel Tango, thank you for joining. First time I've seen you here, but thanks for joining. Palantir, I think Palantir looks pretty good. You could see a little bit of a daily head and shoulders. You want to see it get above 25 and stay on a closing basis, but it looks pretty good.
I think weekly looks phenomenal in
The
Palantir.
weekly does look phenomenal.
I think, and the volume, the chart is speaking, right? One of those kind of, it's speaking to you. Are you listening, right? It's
Yeah.
consolidating very, very tight above all the ranges. I think it looks great to me.
Yeah. Eswar noted the Pelosi comments. Thank you, Eswar. And Brian piles in when she took Roblox at 150.
Exactly. My
Yeah.
whole point. People remember what they want to remember.
Hopefully hopefully her husband practiced good risk management for her there.
No, those calls expired worthless. She bought January 2023 100 calls. I still remember that
Did they
trade.
expire worthless?
It hasn't hit 100 in a decade.
I know, but did it expire? Did they sell them? Do you know that? I
No,
don't know.
well, the OI never went lower, so
Okay. Randy says Live Nation's kicking ass. Yeah, it's pretty good, Randy. I
yeah.
think somewhere over here is where you flagged that on us. I think somewhere through here. So yeah, nice chart, nice wedge break.
Our Disney looks
Yeah.
great.
Who else? Who else? Palantir highs 30 soon. Do it. That's from Jason. Randy likes Palantir too. Travel Tango says looks like a cup and handle on the 1 week chart. No, 25 being the key point for sure. I agree with 25 being the key point for sure. Let's go back to the weekly real quick. Oh, wrong letter. PLTR. Yeah, I mean it's a bastardized cup and handle. If you want to call it a cup and handle, I'm not. We use these terms so loosely. I'm not going to be mad at you if you call that a cup.
It's not a traditional cup and handle. Cup and
You
handles
would you would want to see the handle kind of do that. Usually it's around 25%, right? Something like that.
yeah, 38%, 30%.
Or 30%. Yeah. So you'd want to see it do one of those into here somewhere and then come out. Travel tango. So it could be a cup, and if it's a cup, then it's a little toppy, and that would play into my daily head and shoulders because it's going to have to pull in, right? But I think it looks good. But yes,
But these aren't cup and handle patterns.
these are this is not coming out.
None of this is cup and handles. You don't have cup and handles after getting destroyed for 80, 90%. You have cup and handles after you've already had a huge move higher. And then you consolidate and move higher. But that's me.
Nick, I know you've been skiing, shredding these slopes.
Yeah.
What if I already gave you $10,000 to buy Bitcoin that you said you'd buy? If I gave you $10,000 to say invest this in the stock market, where would you look first? You don't have to give me a name. You can give me a sector even.
CLSK is probably one of the top setups out there, I think,
CLSK.
right now.
Thanks.
But I'm also on board with GP Square. Like I think Square's ready to go stage 2.
I was really hoping you was going to say Gush.
I was not gonna say gosh.
What's the time frame on that situation? Bags, like, is it 10 grand for a year, 3 months, 1 day?
Just imagine I'm Scrooge McDuck and I've just got money falling out of my pockets and I say, here, take this, put it in the market. So I'm not giving you a time frame. I'm just saying, here, take this and make it grow.
Um, I put me,
Yeah, you,
if I'm Scrooge McDuck rich, I want to be more conservative with my investments. I would probably go with PFE.
Pfizer.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioned that last week.
Yeah, so PFE 6% dividend while you wait for this chart to get more sexy, and it will get more sexy.
Okay, let me change
Um,
it on you then, GP, since you've already
yes.
given us PFE before. I need my $10,000 to grow in the next 9 months because we're having a new baby. We're not having a new
Redfin. I'd be buying Redfin.
red. Really?
I know you don't see it. It's okay.
Well, no, I mean this is another one you, in my opinion, you could throw the rock at, right?
As in the accumulation on this chart is bananas, right? So, um, it's making higher lows, higher highs. Um, the volumes kicking in. These guys were the first company, I believe, to offer, and that real estate commission thing news. These guys were leading the charge here, right? First adopters and in finding lower commissions and easier transaction processing for homeowners.
Yep.
I love the accumulation in this chart. It has wild moves day to day, so I'm not talking about that. But if I was looking at this 9 months, 10 months out, I think this is probably going to be above 18, if not higher.
So my money fell in my pocket. Here you go, GP. Buy it. I need it to grow in the next 9 months. You're telling me Redfin, would you go and buy this tomorrow if I gave you my money?
I bought it on
Or would you wait?
Friday. I already bought it on Friday. I have 3 areas where I've been looking to buy. The first one, I started my starter position around 720. The next one was around 630, and the next one will be 540. So yes, I'm DCAing in because it has wild moves.
But I don't own it yet. You're using my money to buy it for me. I don't own it yet. So you would buy it right here, right now, as soon as the market
I'm
opens
looking
tomorrow.
on the daily chart. Give me a second.
I mean, I'm giving you
Yeah,
my money. I want to know what you're doing with it.
Yeah, fine. I didn't know you were so worried about every day. So I
Well,
would
Scrooge
buy.
McDuck, I wasn't worried about, but hey, I'm about to have a baby over here. I need to know.
So I think as long as it's holding above like that 580, 590 area, I'd be a willing buyer here. Um, that's personally me. I'm not gonna, if my thought process is that we're in the 18s and 20s, maybe not 9 months, maybe it's 15 months or 18 months or whatever it is. But if we're gonna be that much higher, I'm not gonna ninny around for 20, 30 cents.
Jason likes open too. Open and Redfin, similar, but GP likes Redfin better.
There's a lot more accumulation in the Redfin chart than there is the open chart. That's what probably would lean me
Yeah, I see it.
towards. Yeah.
I can see it. I know we're running out of time. Randy says JEPQ. Hey, Randy, Daddy's already got some JEPQ. You know what I'm saying? 6% divvy.
Isn't
I
that
love
designed to eventually go down? Do they rebalance every day like a lot
Look
of
at that.
the
How's that designed to go down?
No, I'm asking. I'm not in it, so I'm asking.
No, it's not designed to go down.
Because
Hey,
all the like the triple leverages are all designed to go down, right? They
no, it's covered
rebalance.
calls. It's covered
Yeah.
calls. It's covered calls. It's covered calls.
Is
Thanks, Randy.
that this fucking ETF is the reason nothing can break out?
Well, I mean, that wouldn't be the first time JP Morgan did some shady shit, allegedly.
So
Allegedly.
can we talk about regional banks for a minute?
Yes, we have like 2 minutes.
Okay. I know we're a little over, but I know no one's talking about regional banks and decidedly so. But if you go on a if you go on a monthly basis,
Sure.
like, doesn't that look like the Qs in October? And 4 months later, we're well past right into the 9 month moving average. And then bang, bang.
Yeah, it kind of does.
And 4 months later, we were taking out all time highs.
You're not crazy.
I ain't crazy. So
Crazy like a fox.
if you're looking for potentially alpha, these
Huh.
I think stocks in these names in this bucket are going to be potentially outperformers over the next 3 to 4 months. One of the ones that I have on my radar is FITB,
FITB.
Fifth Third National Bank. One of the few,
FITP.
Pretty.
Yeah, looks good.
yes, weekly consolidating, breaking out.
U.S. Bank's a little bit behind.
Goldman finally broke out, Nick.
Yeah. Damn. And it's giving you like another shot at 400.
Yep.
There we go.
And that's the other part of that conversation, which is XLF, right? XLF is now just starting to break out of a 2 year consolidation above the 2008 and 2021 highs.
I mean, imagine if you just listened to us in March of 2023. I mean, I didn't listen to our own advice. I kind of did. I kind of did. I bought some bank names and I sold them on pops. So I shouldn't belittle myself that much. But you could just rode that off into the sunset, baby.
Yep.
Could
We
just
talked about it.
rode
They're
that.
robbing
Just
people.
rode it like a cowgirl.
As my dad says, highway robbery.
Hey guys, we're at time. We're a little bit over, but that's okay. I've missed you guys. It's not something I do. I don't usually get too personal, but I want to dedicate this show to my pup Boom, who passed away earlier today. It's been a sad day in the Bags family, but shout out to Boom. We'll miss you, bro. It's a good dog. Lived a great life. But anyway, thoughts and prayers with the Bags family as we grieve our friend. So I'm dedicating tonight to him. I wasn't in the mood, but I'm thankful to be here with you guys and talk some stocks and get my mind off things a little bit. And it was very helpful. So I appreciate you guys. I love you.
Love you too, man, and much love to the family.
Thank you. All right. And hey, don't forget, we'll be back next Monday during market hours, 11 a.m. Quarterly cookie show. Cookie Monsters here. He'll be
Before
here.
you guys go, do you have a few minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Nick, I know you're on vacation, so I don't want to take too long here. I know we've talked about doing content and all that other
Hey,
stuff.
GP, we're still live.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah. So we're wrapping up the show. But we'll be back quarterly cookie on Monday, April 1st, not April Fool's joke, quarterly cookie at 11 a.m. during market